While attempting to exploit a vulnerable machine on VulnHub, I encountered a significant challenge. Up until now, I had no prior knowledge about the Laravel web framework. As a result, I struggled to identify the crucial directories and files within the framework that could provide me with valuable information. This information would be pivotal in aiding my exploitation of the targeted vulnerable machine, which is susceptible to a local file inclusion (LFI) vulnerability. I am determined to delve deeper into the Laravel framework to comprehend its essential components and better understand how to exploit the LFI vulnerability effectively. Hello, everyone. I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you to this fresh video. Today, we have an exciting journey ahead as we delve into the world of the Laravel web framework. Our focus will be on installing Laravel on both Windows and Linux platforms. Furthermore, we'll delve into the significance of its key files, shedding light on their importance and functionality. So, let's get started. Let's start by addressing the question that's probably on your mind: what exactly is Laravel, and why do people use it? Laravel is like a free toolkit for building websites and web applications using the PHP programming language. It's kind of like having a set of tools that make building websites easier and more organized. One of the cool things about Laravel is that it follows a design pattern called MVC, which helps keep everything organized and makes it easier to manage different parts of a website. Imagine you're building a house. Instead of starting from scratch and doing everything on your own, you have a set of tools and plans to follow. Laravel is like those tools and plans, but for building websites. It helps with things like figuring out how different parts of a website should communicate, managing information from a database, and making sure everything runs smoothly. So, in a nutshell, Laravel is a special helper that makes building websites faster, more efficient, and less complicated. It's like having a handy guide that shows you the best way to put all the pieces together. Once you've wrapped your head around what Laravel is, let's dive into the next exciting phase, the installation process. And guess what? Laravel can work its magic on both Windows and Linux systems. Now, let's zoom in on the installation steps. If you're setting up Laravel on a Windows computer, you must have a local server. Think of it as the engine that powers your website. XAMPP and WAMP are two popular choices. For this walkthrough, we'll roll with XAMPP. You can find out a detailed guide on how to get XAMPP up and running, so make sure to check that out. You can find out the XAMPP control panel by searching. Alright, next up on our installation adventure is Composer. Composer is like a super handy toolkit that helps bring Laravel to life on your computer. Here's what you need to do: head over to https://getcomposer.org download to grab the Composer installer designed for Windows. Once that's done, run the installer and just follow the simple steps on your screen. Pay attention and don't forget to pick the option that adds Composer to your computer's path system. It's like giving Composer a VIP pass to smoothly collaborate with Laravel during the installation process. Trust me, this small step ensures that Composer and Laravel are on the same wavelength, working together like a dream. And just like that, you're all set to dive into the exciting world of Laravel. Now, let's roll up our sleeves and start creating a brand new Laravel project. The journey begins by finding your chosen destination folder where you want this project to take shape. In my case, I'll be crafting it within the htdocs directory of XAMPP. Alright, let's open the command prompt on your Windows machine. This is where the real magic happens. With a swift command, Composer, our trusty sidekick, will be at our service. Here's type, Composer, create project, prefer dast, Laravel/Laravel. Here provide a project name. When you run this command, Composer will work its magic and create a Laravel project for you. During the process, you might see a prompt asking if you want to allow the plugin to access the composer.json file. just type Y to confirm. Finally, we've successfully built a Laravel project on the htdocs of the XAMPP folder. To witness this project's digital playground, we'll need to bring XAMPP into the spotlight. Go to the XAMPP control panel, here start Apache and MySQL engines. They'll be the powerhouse behind your project. To see what's inside your Laravel project, go to your web browser and type localhost in the address bar. After that, add the name of your project. Now, click on Public. Finally, we're now on the main page of your Laravel project. Here's a little bonus tip: if you're feeling fancy and want to set up a virtual host, you can. It's like giving your project a unique address. To do this, open up the httpd the hosts.conf file, tucked away in C drive, XAMPP, Apache, conf, extra. Drop in a few lines at the end, telling Apache where your project will reside. Don't forget to save the file. Now, let's work with the hosts file. First, open Notepad as an administrator. To do this, search for Notepad in your computer's search bar, right-click on it, and choose Run as Administrator. Once Notepad is open, click on File in the top left corner. And then select Open. You need to navigate to the location of the hosts file, which can be found at C drive, Windows, System32, Drivers, etc. This is where we'll tell your computer to associate your project's special address. A simple line of code is all it takes. Remember to save the file. Hold on, we're almost there. It's time to unveil your creation. Open your web browser and type in the URL address. Take a look at your screen, there it is, the special welcome page of your Laravel project, waving its digital flag high. This means your very own creation has come to life and is ready to roll. Now, it's your time to jump in and get creative. Start crafting something incredible and let your imagination run wild. Now, let's walk through the process of setting it up on Linux. To get Laravel up and running on Linux system, there are a few prerequisites that you need to have in place. Before you dive in, it's a good idea to make sure you have the latest versions of software packages. To do this, simply open a terminal and enter sudo apt update command. Once the update is done, the next step involves installing Apache 2 and MySQL. These components are essential for Laravel, as it relies on a web server and a database. You can install them by entering sudo apt install Apache 2 MySQL server command. After the installation, you need to make sure that Apache 2 and MySQL services are running as they should. After completing the installation, it's important to ensure that the Apache 2 and MySQL services are up and running. To start the Apache 2 service, use the command sudo service apache 2 start. You can check the status of the service by entering sudo service apache 2 status. To confirm that Apache 2 is working correctly, open a web browser and type in localhost as the URL. This will allow you to see the contents served by the Apache 2 service and verify its proper operation. Now, let me start the MySQL service. Use the command sudo service MySQL start. You can check the status of the service by entering sudo service MySQL status. Now that your server setup is ready, let's move on to installing Laravel. But before that, ensure that your system has PHP, Composer, and the required dependencies. To install these, simply open a terminal and run sudo apt install php, php CLI, php mipstring, php XML, php zip unzip composer command. Once you've got the necessary prerequisites set up, you're ready to create your new Laravel project using Composer. Start by choosing the directory where you want your project to reside. In my case, I'll be creating it in the var www directory. To begin, execute composer create project --prefer dist Laravel/Laravel, and then give a name for the project. Oops! The installation might fail due to permission issues. To address this, use the sudo command with Composer. When prompted, type yes to proceed as the root user. If you encounter another error related to a missing dependency, such as php curl, you can quickly fix it by running sudo apt install php curl. After installing the missing dependency, retry the composer command to install Laravel. I run into an issue, which indicates that I might need to remove previously generated project files before proceeding. Once Laravel is successfully installed, you'll be able to navigate within the project directory. Depending on our system's settings, we may need to adjust file and directory permissions to ensure Laravel functions correctly. To achieve this, navigate to your project directory and execute the following commands. This command ensures that the web server user, known as www.data, gains control over the current directory and everything inside it. The www.data user is closely linked to the web server's operations, which enables it to interact with and manage files within the directory. This change of ownership guarantees that the web server possesses the essential permissions to read, write, and execute files present in the project directory. You can verify this change by using the ls-al command, which will display the directory's contents along with their ownership and permissions. Similarly, the following command adjusts the permissions of the storage directory and its contents. The chmod command is responsible for altering file permissions. The permission code 755 grants the file owner the ability to read, write, and execute files. However, other users, group and others, are restricted to reading and executing files only. The storage directory typically stores cached files, session data, and other temporary information used by the application. This permission setup allows the web server to both read and write data in this directory while maintaining a secure environment. Again, you can verify this change by using the ls-al command to observe the updated permissions and ownership. As Apache 2 has a default page, we need to configure a virtual host for our Laravel project. Start by creating a new virtual host configuration file. Drop in a few lines at the end, telling Apache where your project will reside. Save it using Ctrl+X. Now, enable the virtual host configuration and reload Apache. Let me visit the domain. But, once we encounter an issue accessing the environment in your web browser, we can fix this by disabling the default Apache configuration. Finally, restart the Apache web server to apply the changes. Still, it needs to be fixed. So, we have to add the chosen domain, in this case, myproject.local, to etc/hosts file. After making these adjustments, we can now access the Laravel project by navigating to http://myproject.local in the web browser. Now that we have successfully set up the Laravel web framework on both Windows and Linux, let's take a closer look at the essential files that play a crucial role within the framework. These key files hold significant importance as they define the structure and behavior of your Laravel applications. By understanding the roles and functionalities of these files, we gain valuable insights that can aid in exploring and potentially exploiting vulnerable web applications built on the Laravel framework. Gaining familiarity with these files is pivotal for identifying potential security vulnerabilities and weaknesses present in such applications. Laravel organizes its structure in a way that the homepage or primary website content is stored within the public directory. This directory serves as the document root for the web server. It houses essential files like index.php, along with assets such as CSS, JavaScript, and images. One of the most crucial files within a Laravel project is composer.json. This file plays a vital role as it outlines the project's dependencies and other settings that Composer requires to function effectively. However, the heart of the Laravel application resides within the app directory. Here, you'll find core application components like controllers, models, and services. These components define the essential business logic and functionality that empower your application. The console directory in a Laravel project does not typically contain any files or directories by default. In older versions of Laravel, prior to Laravel 5, the console directory is used to house the commands for the Laravel Artisan command line tool. Artisan commands are used to perform various tasks related to your Laravel application, such as database migrations, creating controllers, generating models, and more. In the exception directory, Laravel keeps exception classes that handle different types of errors that might arise during your application's execution. These exceptions offer a more organized and controlled way of managing errors and unexpected situations. Meanwhile, the HTTP directory plays a pivotal role in handling HTTP requests and responses. It's central to defining routes, controllers, middleware, and other elements that shape your web application. The Bootstrap directory contains essential files and scripts responsible for initializing and bootstrapping the Laravel application. This step ensures the proper configuration and environment setup before the application starts running. The config directory in a Laravel project contains configuration files that define various settings and options for different aspects of your application. These files play a critical role in customizing and fine-tuning the behavior of your Laravel application. It is important to remember that the config file is now a separate directory on the latest version. But previously, it is found in the app directory on old versions. An influential file within this directory is database.php. The database.php configuration file is used to configure database connections and related settings. You can define connections for different database engines that are MySQL, PostgreSQL, set up connection parameters, and configure query logging and other database-related options. The database directory serves as a repository for managing databases. It houses migration files, seeders, and factory definitions, facilitating proper database management within your Laravel project. While there are additional directories and files in a Laravel project, not all of them are essential to know. Understanding each one in detail isn't crucial. I hope you now have a foundational understanding of the key components that we've covered in this video. You can find out more in detail on my website. If you have any questions related to the content, feel free to ask in the comments section below the video.